for. Whatever she's trying to find.
You don't know the half of it, Harkin. I can see you've picked up a monk. The last one I met, I dumped.
Charming. You know how to break ice in conversation, don't you?
Yetka, let me guess. You have business here.
Miss this? Not a chance. There's a wealth of buried treasure over there, and I intend to take my share.
What's on the other side of the pathway?
It separates our world from the Rhogar realm. It leads to an abandoned temple that once belonged to humans. The Rhogar are attacking from there, and Tanis bade me go there and do whatever is in my power to stop the Rhogar invasion.
How will this lead us to Antanas?
It won't. Not yet. The first thing we need to do is to make the area safe. And when I say we, I mean you. These injuries would make me more of a hindrance than asset to our cause.
I work better alone anyway.
Enter the pathway now, Harkin. Find a way to stop the Rhogar Lords. Only once they're stopped, we can meet with Antanas.
Oh, I might have missed a dialogue option there, that's okay. But
Enter the pathway now, Harkin. Find a way to stop the Rhogar Lords. Only once they're stopped, we can meet with Antanas.
Harkin, what is taking you so long?
so we're going into this mysterious portal here. It looks not unlike the Challenger portals. See that this one isn't open. So that means this is tied to a different boss than the Worshipper. This tip is letting us know that there are rare drops in the game. In fact, some of the best weapons in the game are, in particular the best rogue weapon, is just a random drop from some late game enemies.
I can't believe it. It's not a chamber. It's a whole other world. It looks familiar, but like a child's memory. It's twisted, broken. That ray of light, is this the device you're looking for? Well, never mind. Off to get some treasure. Finders keepers.
And here we are at the bridge between dimensions. It's I believe this is the Rhogar realm. I don't think this is specifically called the pathway, but it looks very, very nice. And you can see it's snowy over here too, so it's snowy everywhere in the Lords of the Fallen universe. And we can see the ridiculously enormous moon. I guess Bloodborne must have taken inspiration from Lords of the Fallen. And this is the first time we'll be walking down this bridge. A little later in the game we'll come here and it'll look a little bit different. And up here we see another friendly NPC.
Hideous.
He took his leaden sword in hand.
You can speak.
As can you. Imagine my surprise.
What are you?
I don't know. I do not abide the mortal laws. I left the realm of men 100 lifetimes ago. I do not have a name. I don't remember it. And it does not matter here.
You left the realm of men?
From the moment the universes were born, they began to die. It's inevitable. Nothing stays the same. Even you are changing in this moment, right in front of me. And I in front of you.
This is absurd.
It does not matter much which way you go.
You doing here?
Something is searching for me. Something of high value. It will arrive by and by.
What do you mean?
It will come when the Rhogar go.
The Rhogar are not leaving anytime soon.
Coming and going, going and coming. It makes no difference to me.
What is this precious thing you seek?
It is a crystal, a very special crystal. A crystal that can rend a tear between the realms. A tear powerful enough to distort other ruptures.
The Rhogar could be using that crystal to enter our world.
You will find the crystal itself in the place of power. A place where all energy gathers. Take it away, and the Rhogar lords will travel no more. Then, bring it back to me. Yes.
These tools. Are you a smithy of some sort?
In some ways, yes. You could say so. I do have dealings with weapons and the like.
Craft something for me.
You ask me for a glass of water, and I could give you the ocean.
Give me the ocean then.
Show me one of your runes, and with this rune, you can imbue any weapon you like.
So here we see the crafting system. You can read the tutorial message if you want. There's 3 different ones. But basic idea is you have runes and you spend experience to sort of bet on the rune, and it will randomly be selected what the rune happens to be after you bet experience. The big runes are from bosses, the small runes are just random drops from enemies. And runes you socket in your weapons as well as your gauntlet and shield. And armor, I guess, all 3. You can socket in everything, pretty much. But let's press circle. So I will use 1 big rune, and the objective is to get a flawless luck rune, but if I don't get it, I'll still use it for something. Flawless poison rune, which is okay, I suppose. This flawless poison will be useful as a projectile. So now I can enchant my gauntlet so it has a poison dot. I'll show that in a second. But let's get some small runes. Trying to get a higher luck rune, but 1 of each rune will probably do. And I'm going to save a few small runes just so I can open some chests. Higher power is good. Higher magic is not so good. There's a higher luck. Okay. I believe we have 1 of each type at this point. Let's stop here. Okay. So now we can equip a rune in our weapon, and we could get a poison dot. We can get physical damage, attack power bonus. This is just magic damage, more or less. And magic seems like it's the worst. It's possible they buffed it since then, but power is the second best, and luck is by far the best because it just increases your attribute scaling. And fire does fire damage. I'm not sure if fire will cause a fire dot inherently, but you can cause fire dots with the gauntlet. So if we scroll over the gauntlet, now each rune adjusts the gauntlet to like a different spell. So effectively the gauntlet has 15 different spells, including the 3 basic ones. So here we see creates a poisonous pool on the ground and slows enemies down. That one's pretty useful. Throws an explosive bomb, spawning smaller ones while bursting. This is like a cluster bomb. This one is throws a magical bomb that stays in the air and keeps shooting at enemies. This is like a turret, so you throw it, and if it goes behind like an enemy with a big shield, it'll still shoot them in the back while they're facing you. And distracts the target, dealing no damage. I'm not exactly sure what the luck rune does. We'll have to test that out at some point. If I don't get to showing all the spells in the course of one playthrough, I'll do it later. Actually, there's 18 different spells because there's fire rune as well. So deals fire damage on detonation. That's just for explosives. So it's the same idea with projectile and blast. And remember, blast still sucks. It doesn't matter what rune you put in it. This one's pretty cool looking. Like you get a flamethrower, but it still kind of sucks even as a flamethrower. But projectiles, since we got flawless poison, I'll just stick that right in there. So now we have a poison dot on our spell, on our main projectile with the gauntlet. You'll notice that the magic cost changes, so with each grade of rune effectively you have a higher or lower cost, which can be reasonably problematic if you have very low faith. I think it might be possible to outcost your basic magic stat, but we should be able to fire this with what we have right now. And same idea for shields, but luck is also the best thing for shields because it increases your stability more or less. So how much the shield blocks damage-wise. So you know, an 80% stability shield is really insane in Dark Souls. Same sort of idea here. There's even shields that have 3 sockets, so you can boost it up by like 21%, 24%, which is pretty crazy. Let's see here. And it's also the same idea with armor. So you can equip a power rune and it'll do physical defense, which in my opinion is always the best. You get magic defense for, well, there's one pretty frustrating magic enemy in the game. And fire defense for like fire archers and so on. And you get the idea. But luck runes in this case do equipment capacity, so you really don't have to spend any points in endurance as a rogue if you wanted to avoid it. Like you could just socket your gear with luck runes and you'd be able to wear pretty much everything in the game. However, there's probably some optimal setups that will run endurance or whatever the stamina stat is called. So that's an overview of the crafting system. We're just going to stick the higher luck rune and needles here. Now it does 70 damage. If we put in higher power, which is the closest competition, it's merely 68 damage. So even without a flawless luck rune, and even with relatively low agility, it's still outpacing even the best secondary runes. We see magic does 59, and fire does 66, so we're going to stick with the luck rune. And you'll see the crafter sits next to an anvil, so every anvil in the world, and there's some in the other world as well, if you just walk up to it, the crafter will spawn there and be ready to craft stuff for you.
What do the runes say when they speak to you?
Tell me more about your dimension traveling.
It would take 1,000 years to explain.
Give me the short version.
Short version would involve me not being human anymore. We meet again.
We meet again, that's my favorite line that he has. We meet again. This is probably the best or second best voice acting in the game from the crafter here. And that might just be because of audio editing, but I think it sounds pretty nice. When you first enter this area, it gives you the trophy. The real Lord starts here, so it's a reference to the real soul starts here messages. And the game does get harder here, even if you're not all powered up. Like we went down into the catacombs and went through a more dangerous area than here to get more powerful. But if we didn't do that, it would still be relatively difficult in this area, and I may die. We'll see. See Yetka here. I have an X2 multiplayer, as previously mentioned, right now, so I'm not going to tap this quite yet.
We owe you.
Harkin, you won't believe this. See, I found this stone tablet. It's incomplete, but it's written in the language of my book of lineage. Where does it come from? I need the source.
What's this book of lineage about anyway?
It's the only thing that's left of my family. And I know that they had a vision of me finding that treasure.
I'll see if I can find some.
Right. It wouldn't hurt if you made yourself useful for a change. If I knew where they came from, I might be able to translate them.
So what she's basically given us another quest here. There's lore, or items that look like lore, which are the little scrolls, the floating scrolls in the air. And in this area there'll be, well, in this world, I guess, in the Rhogar realm, there will be 8 to 10 of those, and if we pick all of those up, she'll give us a reward, so it's another collectible quest. But that's going to do it for this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the ancillary videos.